Good afternoon. Meeting of the West Newbury Board of Selectmen, March 25th, 2020. It's now 4:14 p.m. Sorry to keep you waiting. Basically, and I would, anyone that's watching in, I would, in case anyone wants to know, get the new regulations in terms of trash pickups. Nothing at all will be picked up that is not in a barrel, and the same for recycling. It has to be either in a barrel or in the regular recycling containers. So our basic agenda today is to we want to just extend the changes that we made to how town government's working, policies related to the opening of the building, all those kinds of things. And so I guess I would say, and I would also recommend that everyone read the Board of Health's COVID-19 update. I'm assuming that is that on the town website? I would assume so. Yes. That's very good. Please, everyone, please read that. I would recommend that we, I make a motion that we change the time for the changes related to access to the town buildings, access to remote, to have all meetings be available in remote fashion. What other things do we want to mention?
So I would refer you to the highlighted items in the first few pages of the packet. So on page 3, you had previously voted to waive any late fees for license.
Correct, yes.
Until March 30th. Town facility use by outside groups was canceled until March 30th. The policy of basically authorizing work from home is effective through March 27th. So those are the ones that had specific dates on them.
What about, I think, didn't we add after that meeting, playgrounds and stuff? So I think that should be part of it.
I don't know if we dated them, but yeah.
So did we just close them down until further notice, or did we just, but people might think it was.
Yeah, it'd be good to wrap that all together.
Put it all together, yes. Good.
And what about things like Mill Pond, fields, and things like that? Could we say something like that? We would, those facilities are still open, but only with groups of 2 people? If you're going to take a walk?
It's hard to know because you could have a family of 5 people.
I don't know. I'm just the only reason that was just a template that I heard. I think it was Martha's Vineyard, that they've closed everything down. That, and if people are going to take outside walks and walk their dog, they're asking the selectmen. They're saying that everybody has to shelter in place in that particular town, and if they're going to go outside to walk their dog or take walks, that they only do it in groups of 2 people. I don't know. I'm just talking about town facilities as this time. I don't know. So the physical structures, so if kids want to go up and play ball at one of the soccer fields, are we allowing that? Want to get out of the house and play catch, lacrosse, 4 or 5 people? That's all I'm making reference to.
If it's a sport and they're touching with their hands the same object, then that's probably not a good thing. There was an email thread where we were trying to figure out what made sense, where there's a dialogue, I think, with the Board of Health or Parks and Rec. I don't remember who was involved with the conversation at that point in time, but I just wondered if maybe it was okay to say soccer was okay as long as you didn't touch the ball with your hands, but maybe even that's pushing it. But I definitely don't think we want kids out in the field tossing the ball around. Anything that they're bringing in touch with their hands.
Yeah, I honestly haven't read about anywhere that got that specific in terms of what what sports they would allow. Obviously, we don't want basketball because we can see what can happen in the NBA players.
I don't think we should start picking and choosing. I think we should just make a blanket thing that, you know, any town-owned facilities that we would like to keep groups, no matter what they're doing, at a minimum. And let's just pick a number, I guess.
Say allow passive recreation, not active recreation.
And passive, i.e. walking, hiking, walking your dog, biking.
For instance, tennis, just for example, you're pretty distant from.
Yeah, but you're touching the same ball.
Yes, you are.
I think we're reading too much. I think we're analyzing this too much. It's like, I brought it up because of other towns are doing it on their town facilities. Because I think, I never even thought about the playgrounds last time, and then somebody caught that after our meeting, so then we closed the playgrounds, which was good. So I know people, in this time they're home, I've never seen this, so many people walking in West Newbury than I have now.
I know.
Which is great, but we need to have some guidance on town facilities. Just like we're doing it in our buildings, I think, you know, people are going to want to look for guidance, because the people that want to obey the safe distances and that, they want to try to feel safe when they're using our facilities in this time of, you know, that everybody's home. So passive recreation, and try to keep the groups small, and use safe distances. That's a bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there's a limitation, in any event, there's a limitation on group size based on, Governor Baker's, order of 10 people.
Okay. I know Paul's on this call. Paul, do you have any?
Right now, he's on mute. I'm trying to fix that.
Okay.
Angus, this is Leanne. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you, yes.
Paul would probably take himself off of mute. I put myself on mute.
Okay, I just went.
Not you, well, now he's back on. From my hello?
Here's Paul. Paul, do you have any specific recommendations on what we were just talking about?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I would say that, you know, anything that, even if you're running around like soccer, they may not be touching the ball with the hand, but if they're trying to get the ball away from another player, they're going to be within 6 feet, and they're going to be breathing hard, and sliders going to be flying, so I would say they got to use their own common sense.
So, yeah, but a lot of people don't have common sense, Paul. So what would your specific recommendations be when we talk in examples of Mill Pond in the fields, that we do passive recreation and keep the groups to a minimum, and please use safe distancing practices?
I would say that would be the safest way to go about it.
Because if you think about how Marcus Smart probably got infected on the Celtics, he there's a picture of him going up for a rebound with the
guy from Utah?
With the guy from Utah, and that's probably where he got it.
Yeah, and you can't get it through sweat. You can't get it through that. It has to be something. Okay, so what else we have to accomplish today?
Okay, so let's get that.
So with all those limitations, we want to extend them, and I guess the recommendation, or we can discuss it, would be extend those indefinitely, and then they would be reviewed by the town manager weekly, and then when he felt that we need to come back with even more different recommendations and or modified to that, then he would call a meeting. So we don't have to have these meetings every week to keep on extending it and taking up valuable time.
So we use the same for all the things that we previously discussed. We will have those in force indefinitely. Obviously, they're not going to be indefinitely, but so that we don't have to keep revisiting it until we need to take them off.
Mm-hmm.
You okay with that, Rick?
He didn't move. I don't think Rick can hear you.
Rick, you okay with that?
Yeah, I am. I'll move, just as you said, that we extend indefinitely, all of the, restrictions or limitations that you just named.
Okay. And then, so want to somebody second that? Second.
Further discussion?
Yeah, let's discuss. So the first question everybody would ask, when it's indefinitely, what's going to happen to the town meeting and the town election? I guess that would be the first thing people would talk about. And obviously, that would be just, those are still in the works, and we'll advise everybody when we have some better answers.
Yes, so this coming Monday, March 30th, had been on this calendar for the last couple of months as the annual or biannual pre-town meeting, joint meeting with the finance committee, the moderator, the selectmen, town council, and myself. So that continues to be on the agenda for this coming Monday. And the finance committee and the moderator have been advised that among other items for discussion will be potential postponement of town meeting and or election. So whether a decision is made that night is going to be up to the board or up to the relevant authorities. I know with elections, the board of registrars has a role with that. So I think making a decision Monday would be great to give people certainty, but it hasn't been formally.
So, Mike, have you heard anything further today? We have heard about that. Probably we will be able to postpone the election. But what about town meetings? That was not on that. Is that a separate? That's a separate issue, right?
Don't we control the date of town meeting? Is that?
No, you don't, because it's part of our bylaws.
That we have it on the
That's part of the bylaws to have the annual town meeting. Obviously, you can call a special town meeting at any time.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the selectmen. There certainly is, the legislation was put in play a few years ago because of the hurricane that was proposed during a time when we were going to have town meeting. And so they changed the statute in order to allow the town moderator to basically postpone it due to a public emergency. There is proposed some modification to that statute to include public health emergency as part of the reason. Right now, they just have a general public emergency.
So that
So just to make it absolutely clear that they have power to do it for another 30 days. They have, just so you know, they have passed legislation which allows the town, again, our town election or annual town election is set in accordance with our bylaws, but they have allowed statute for the board of selectmen and or the board of registrars to change it. They have the power to change that to any time before June 30th. And the way that would work, and that legislation has been passed and signed by the governor. So.
He did sign it.
He did sign it.
Okay.
So that's in place right now. Then what would happen then is that for office holders who currently have the position, they would continue in their position until the new election. And then, the slate is already set, but the only change would be is that right now we would have a last day to register to vote to be in town meeting, and in the election, it would be 20 days prior, which would be April 10th, is now scheduled. But now it would be changed, if you change the election, it would be 10 days prior. Anyone who registered to vote 10 days prior to the rescheduled election would be permitted to vote in the town election. So, and also they have loosened the requirements for absentee or / early voting. So anyone who would want to get an early voting ballot would be allowed, whether they're going to be in town or not. It wouldn't matter. So they could vote remotely. Be mailed a ballot and go from there.
So-
Hopefully something changes.
So we're gonna have that conversation on Monday? Or, all right, my recommendation would be that we just push it out a month to the first, it's always, by bylaw, it's the first Monday of May.
Yes.
And that, why don't we just make it the first Monday of June, which would be June 1st? Just so, and the reason why that is because the sooner we make it, then we can start making plans for it. We don't have to keep on revisiting, then that can be, not put on the back burner, but okay, that's finished, then we start working on stuff that's current. And
There's a number of communities who have already done exactly that, and that's a popular date. The first week of June is a popular date. The last week in May. Last week in May is a little bit more different. Last full week in May is a little more difficult because
Labor Day.
Memorial Day
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day falls into that week. So
And that's another thing we need
That's
to
another
start,
thing we need to think about.
is the Memorial Day Parade.
yes,
And for two reasons. One, that of just getting everybody who's in town government is working on this and might not have time to be organizing a parade. Even
And
as
we want
important as it
people
is, I'm not.
congregating still, yeah.
And then the people congregating. I don't know, but we can take that up.
We can,
That's the end of May. This is in the beginning of May. So that's the motion I'd be making in June, so.
yeah, so.
The reason why I said it now, so we can think about it.
If the election was June 1st, then
I have it here. What do you need?
the town meeting would be what?
well, you could have it. I mean, it's we historically have it on a Monday, but you could reschedule it for any day.
Yeah, we don't have to have it the week
Okay.
before.
I mean, on our bylaws, it has to be on Monday, on that Monday, basically. But with the power to reschedule, you can choose any day. So,
Okay, that was my question,
I
okay.
mean, you could theoretically have like the June 1st as the annual town meeting, and then have the election on like the 3rd.
We could do that. Yeah, okay, so let's have that discussion on,
You don't have to have a week
Right.
between,
yeah, we can
Okay,
have that discussion.
so let's go back to the town building and all those things.
I was kind of losing, much of what Mike said, I'm sorry, but, I'm trying to piece it together. Could you just go over those dates again, Mike?
Maybe come over.
They were all just hypothetical stuff that he was just talking about that we,
I'm just saying is that we have,
Right.
oh, he can't, he's
Right, this is the audio.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right, yeah.
Is that?
oh, I thought he could hear us through the microphones.
No, well,
Oh,
the
got it,
TV
got it.
can.
Right.
My point is that we can choose any date, we want, we're not, by this, the bylaws, we're limited to, what was it, the first Monday in May.
For the election,
For the election.
and the last Monday in April for our town meeting.
Right, but to reschedule it, we have the right to do any day. So, Glenn was proposing to have June 1st, the first Monday in June as the election. I pointed out that.
Yeah, I like your
we could
idea
have
better.
both. We could have like the annual town meeting on June 1st, and then you could have the election 2 days later.
Actually,
You can't have it the exact same, you can't have it the day after, because, we have to set up and, we open the polls at 7. So, I need at least a day.
and there's certain things we have to vote on at town meeting. You have to have that first. Because you have to vote, don't you have to vote
No,
that first page? You have to vote the elections and all that stuff, that first page.
No, we just, what was it,
Oh, the warrant article to have
Yeah,
the particular offices be,
there is
that's
something
always
there.
Article 1 is,
Yeah,
it still will be.
okay.
I know, but I'm just saying we have to have the town meeting before we have to have town meeting before with the town election.
No, because what happens is that,
Huh.
you don't have to, but,
But then why do we vote?
basically is
If you had an override, for example, you could have, I suppose you could have it either way.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm
Yeah.
suggesting you have the annual town meeting first,
Okay,
and then have the election.
okay.
So have it on like the June 1st. That's just a, an idea. Obviously, we'll see what happens with things. Okay.
Okay, let's get back to what we were actually talking about.
It was been moved and seconded.
Yeah. All in favor of changing the closure dates that we had set to before to indefinitely, with Angus revisiting them weekly so that we can change when we need to? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have anything else?
We did, on the issue of work from home, we had when the board voted that last Wednesday, you had said that there'd be additional detail worked out, and that's an ongoing process with each of the department heads to basically assign work based on what people can do, what of their job is essential, what can be done remotely. In some instances, we need to set up more people with VPN so they can have full access remotely, that kind of thing. But in the meantime, both Mike, Stephanie, and I have had our ear to the ground on different HR kind of best practices through all of this, and we put in front of you a draft short-term telecommuting agreement, which I think would be important to have some documentation between the town and the employee of the terms of telecommuting. So I would look to you for whether the board agrees, and if this is something you want to vote, or if this is something that you feel my office has the authority to put out.
I would think the latter.
That, yeah, I would think the latter also, that you have the authority to put it out, and you have my support by doing it.
Right.
I think it's a good, I think it's a good practice.
Okay. So if the board wants to vote that, great. If not, I can just proceed, in consultation with town council before we actually issue something. I would work with department heads to get this done with each employee who's either working remotely or who is just not physically here and may or may not be doing work.
I think the latter, what you talked to earlier, but I'd make a motion that we would support that, just to give it some.
Yeah, just to give you, yes.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
I second that. All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Okay, so those were the only action items before the board this afternoon.
Okay.
I would like to, everybody that's online now, if there's any comments about
Or questions?
or questions, yes, please come on and just, I'd like to thank all our town employees. This has been a trying time for not just our town, but the entire nation, but I'd just like to thank them for their efforts, and I think we're doing a good job.
So that's
So how do we signal whether people have questions?
Well, they're being asked right now if they have questions, and everybody's green, so they shouldn't be muted. So if anybody has any questions, you should ask them now.
any.
They can unmute themselves, right?
Well, we're getting people show. I've pressed unmute all many times, and as you can see,
So
Some
Leanne looks
names
like
are-
she's muted. Jenny looks like she's muted.
well, but I don't know
Well-
if their audio. I feel like
No.
some
Yeah,
people.
Leanne just got off mute.
Yeah. So I am muting myself so you don't hear background noise.
Yep.
And then if I had a question, I would unmute myself and ask.
Yep.
I do not have a question.
And
Okay.
thank you. That was your recommendation at our last meeting, and thank you for that, Leanne.
You're welcome. And this is Meredith. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, if I wanted to come in, can I come in and do my work? And since I'm in an office in the back, I've been working from home, but, I also have my stuff there, and I don't really deal too much with the public since they're not coming in.
Yes, you can.
As long as you use the safe practices and all that stuff, yeah, because there are people who are doing that. But you have to follow safe practices. You can't get, make sure that you wipe everything down, and, don't go into common areas, and keep safe distances. So the answer is yes.
The answer is yes, yeah.
If there aren't any more questions, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
someone
Jenny's
does.
right. Yeah, we do have some minutes on just the March 16th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of March 16th.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Jenny. That's,
Somebody's light lit up for a second, right there.
I didn't catch.
I don't know what that was. Somebody's call lit up for a second, so they were trying to speak, and then it went off.
I think that was Jenny telling us about minutes.
Okay.
So my motion, it was been moved, and was it been seconded? My
By
motion,
me.
yeah, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been seconded.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you, everyone.